Hey guys, come back to another video. Got some search and destroy today, and it's not what we're here to talk about, but it's a round 7 game. It's probably one of the... I've been having a lot of fun. Let's just say I've been having a lot of fun with how Black Ops 4 plays. I have a lot more gameplay for you guys. I've been out here grinding the game, been dropping some high kill games, been having the blast this year. Regarding the Blackout series, expect one more episode to at least be out hopefully this week. I can't be entirely sure if I can get one out this week with just time constraints, but we'll try and get one out. Okay, so the commentary today is about franchising in Call of Duty because the 8th of November, Sharnigan tweeted out, Activision says they're actively working to see how to apply Overwatch League's system to Call of Duty Esports. Just basically applying the Overwatch League to Call of Duty for the future, but just no means for when it's going to be. So I've seen like some interesting ideas of what this could do for Call of Duty, but I think it's probably going to be one of the better things out there. But the 23rd of October, not a big surprise that they're looking to do this because Activision, they announced former NFL executive as the new head of Call of Duty Esports. John Ferry's former NFL executive has been announced the head of the esports operations at Activision Blizzard. I just want to think, like, how's this going to do? In Call of Duty, in my opinion, I think it's going to be a good idea. It's going to make our scene, like, it's going to bring a lot more people into the scene. Bringing them just zoned geographically. Probably like, oh, we have a team in our area. Something we can support. And then potentially for the year, it's just a yearly cycle, but having a consistent, like, having teams just form. And more essentially, probably having to stick together because they're going to be assigned to big contracts. I don't know much about the Overwatch League because Overwatch is not one of the esports I'm really big into. If any of you know anything about it, you could probably leave in the comments and just tell me what it's about. But I assume they sign pretty big contracts, lengthwise, and they don't go anywhere. But things I found on Reddit from 34 days ago on the COD competitive, what I called Corgi. I'm going to link the Reddit post in the description, but it's basically an argument for franchising. Publisher support when you look at the big four esports right now, Overwatch League, Dota 2, and CSGO, each of them have a huge vested interest in the competitive scene of their game. The franchising will make Activision care about their game, which I think is really going to be a big thing. They're like, okay, we have like geographical teams, we're going to have to invest a lot more to give them the popularity they need. It's going to allow for better competitive game in esports just because it's like a league-based system. They're going to have better esports. And then more stability. I think COD's already had the issue. There needs to be a middle ground right now. The new game, many investors are nervous that just one bad game will ruin their investment. Just like IW, Ghost could ruin their investment. And I think the franchising, I'm going to agree with what he said. The franchising, or they find a stable, bring some stability to the COD scene, an increase in revenue. Franchising will be more stable and diversified revenue stream. The first would be a set season sponsored by publishers of the game. A regular season allows for more games to be played and aired on a regular basis. And there will be much bigger contracts to be had. TBS, one of the front runners from a TV perspective, along with ESPN, and when it comes to esports. I remember I had a friend tell me he woke up from a nap, and he woke up and he saw that the Overwatch League was on TV on ABC. So I think that can bring a lot more popularity into the scene, help boost the COD scene. It's one of the big things. Many more casual gamers love COD. Many of them will stumble upon it on TV and will stop. Oh, what's this going on? And I think like some of the personalities the COD pros have would be really well fit for TV. And there could be really some... It could bring out a lot more interesting stuff onto the game. If the publisher responds to the event, it will allow for in-game skins to be sold and revenue split. Betting on sports is starting to become huge here in the U.S. with the recent legal changes. Betting on esports is starting to take off. One thing that really helps football is football be the sport it is today. It's fantasy football. Servers similar or even one sponsored by Activision could help launch or create new revenue for COD as an esport. And having the regular season with franchising also helps grow when it comes to fantasy and betting, as there is now a lot more concrete information about what was going on. I'm not exactly sure. I think it was during Black Ops 3. I saw this thing of some guys that were doing like their own fantasy thing for teams, for players, but I think it would be a lot better if they did that for the game. It's just going to bring a lot more people. It's like, oh, these are my favorite players, and they're going to be like looking at the games. And then drafting free agency trades, everyone's favorite part of the year is roster mania. And I think just pertaining to this, to roster mania, how it could work in this, it could be like, oh, this is the off season. These are the guys that have contracts coming up, and let's see, they're gonna stay with their team that's rebuilding, or they're gonna go try and contend for a title, or they already win the title, they're just gonna leave. And if Activision starts letting orgs know now that they're shooting for franchising legally, the orgs have no leg to stand on or to complain about the money invested into players. On top of this, I'm sure they would work with the orgs to keep maybe 2 or 3 players from each team when starting franchising. They're going to try and keep the popular players. And a fun part of the off-season for mini sports, we're predicting analyzing the opening draft of the new sport could do insane 2 numbers online. A first-year draft for amateurs and under 18. 18 would be a huge highlight every year. Free agency and trades, just being legitimate in the scene and not being like, oh, we have this burner out here saying stuff about it. And I think one of the big things that franchising will do, it's going to help grow the game a lot. Because casual people are going to stumble upon and be like, oh, I want to take my shot at this growing sport. It's going to legitimize like the business people and the players. More revenue just overall in the games and the season, into the season play. And ultimately think that if franchising does go off in the game, it's going to help a lot. And I just want to hear your guys' opinions down in the comments below. And I'll link you all the stuff that I talked about in the description. But guys, I'm saying out. Until next time, make sure you stay on that grind. And peace. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. Just when you leave a like and a subscription, keeps making these videos for longer. Make sure you go follow these social media down in the description to get some constant updates. And peace.